Board meeting Thursday, September 19th. Please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town attorney and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Councilwoman Samoji? Here. Councilman Morris?
Here.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Here.
Councilwoman Doyle? Here. And Supervisor Perotti?
Here. Make a motion to open the public hearing for Community Development Block Grant suggestions.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
For suggestions
development.
for the Community Development Block Grant.
Yeah.
Very good.
I read in the Millerton News last year that no one attended the last meeting, the meeting a year ago when you asked for ideas, which I thought was sort of tragic, so I figured, what the age, as we used to say. One thing that came to mind was the alleged sidewalk to Freshtown, which I know I've been hearing about on and off for 15 years, but it seems that I've seen a lot of elderly people and a lot of young people walking that route, and it's pretty dangerous now. So I'm not really sure what the whole history was or why that never happened, but that seems like one thing that would be really useful and advantageous, especially to people with less money or older people. There were drawings done for plantings at Fountain Square, and I thought this might be an opportunity to use those. I wonder if the engineer could actually look at what the cost would be to place a sewer on this property, since it's already owned by the town, just as a for instance. I mean, the last time, I know that they did a study for a property up the road, but that would sort of eliminate the cost of buying property, and it would be interesting to know whether that's possible. And the fourth idea was installing a solar field at the former town dump, because that property can't, I know there's a park and there's trails up there, but since it can't be used for construction and you can't plant trees, as far as I know, or not a lot of trees, that might be a good place to install solar panels that would be used for the town's energy, or to, as a trade-off for energy used by the town. So that was all.
The Community Development Block Grant has a list of priorities that you need to follow when you're applying for a grant. Some of them are economic development, results in job creation in traditional centers and low and moderate income communities. Others are repairs to existing or construction of new sidewalks and crosswalk infrastructure within centers, sidewalk improvements and handicap accessible crosswalk and curbs that reinforce pedestrian connections, and improvements to existing facilities, municipal parks and recreation areas, particularly handicap accessible improvements. New recreation facilities will be considered based on demonstrated need. Others are support transit-oriented development, reinforce traditional centers, activities that were developed through asset inventory or capital planning process, and contain environmentally friendly materials. It does have water and wastewater, development of central water and wastewater system, maintenance of central water and wastewater systems with properly set user charges, alternative wastewater systems. And then encourage new techniques to contain drainage, such as green streets. Other ones are owner-occupied housing, rental housing, and for the homeless, traditional, transitional, and permanent housing. Some of your ideas do fit within some of the priorities, especially maybe alternative wastewater systems. It might be maybe a feasibility study or something to that effect. So that's why we're having the public hearing, so that we can talk about some of these ideas and, whether to apply for a community development block grant and what area that we, that we want to concentrate on. The only suggestion I had and I looked into is a few years ago, we got a community development block grant for a sidewalk on Route 44 because of constraints, because of some catch basin problems there. We were only able to do 188 feet. So the community development block grant, they said, okay, you can do projects in phases. We'll consider the 188 feet, and we'll give you the dollars you need to complete that as phase one. Now, phase two would be from where we stopped across down to Broadway, across Broadway, and then down to the ball field, which was the original plan. I called the DOT because we didn't do it at that time because fixing the catch basins would have been prohibitive and we, didn't have the money. So I called DOT and spoke to the resident engineer department and said to them, well, we're thinking about possibly, applying for a grant to extend the sidewalk to the ball field. But the last time we ran into a problem with these catch basins that, needed to be repaired that are within your right-of-way. And I was wondering if we did get the grant, we don't know if we will, if we did get the grant, if you would work with us and repair the catch basin so that we could just go ahead and do whatever we needed to do to put the sidewalk there. Well, he said to me, this doesn't happen very often. Usually I get a call, when people are 2 months into the project and say, well, gee, now what do I do? They were very happy that I called ahead. He was going to refer the information to other people at the DOT and see exactly what the problem was. And they were very interested in working side by side with us to possibly make this happen. I told them that, when the people came out from DOT before and looked at it, I said, what you may find on your maps, that they didn't even find one of the catch basins on the map. And he said, well, yep, we've heard that before. So I told them approximately where they were so that somebody can come out and look at them and see if they will work with us, which they sounded like they wanted to do, to actually do that piece of it, since it is within their right-of-way and it is their responsibility, if we were going to go for this grant.
On the wastewater feasibility study, so I don't know if you guys remember, but there were 2 years ago or so, I went to a conference that Syracuse University had sponsored through their environmental financing committee, or it's the actual name, but it's the, I have a PDF here about what they do. I'll share it with the board, and Leo, I'll also send it your way. It's the Environmental Finance Center at Syracuse University. And the conference was all about how small rural municipalities can apply for either wastewater treatment funding programs, feasibility studies, and actually Syracuse University, this group within Syracuse University offers support to local municipalities in New York State. It's not free, but it is, significantly less expensive than hiring sort of a, private engineer to come do a feasibility study because they're subsidized by the state to offer this service. So one thing that I could do, because I think that is a great idea to do a feasibility study for Amenia and possibly Westlake, I can call and find out what that service costs if Syracuse were to do it. And then if that'll fit within the funding guidelines, we can put an application in for that. We can put in multiple applications for different programs, right?
Yes. But for the CDBG, we have to choose one. I mean, we could apply for whatever funding you found.
Oh, okay. We have to choose one for the CDBG.
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right, well, I'll contact them and I'll find out.
And then our, what they, for handicap accessibility, their cap is $100,000, and then for the sidewalk project would be $150,000. There were several grants, transportation grants that were looked at for the sidewalk to Freshtown. It's a lot more than $150,000. I think it was, the projected cost was close to $1 million.
Wow. It goes to
I know we
wetlands,
did
right?
apply, one grant that was applied for was Safe Routes to School, you know, when the school was here. And we didn't get that one, and then I think after that, you know, we've applied for other grants. But it's a very expensive project. I've had, before you can apply for any project that's within the DOT right away, you need to talk to the resident engineer, which is why I called. And I actually had the resident engineer come out and look, and he said, well, you know, I could see where a sidewalk would go, you know, there. But, so, you know, if we were to apply for a larger grant, you know, they've already, you know, approved it as a possibility. But I learned that when I went out to a workshop they had at the DOT, that any grant that you apply for, which I had to do when I applied for the grant for the sidewalk in front of the post office, because it's within the DOT right-of-way, and they approved it. So they have to approve anything, you know, that you're going to apply for. And they've already been out and seen this, you know, the sidewalk on Route 44. So they're, you know, aware of it. So is there any other comment or?
The only thing that I was going to suggest on the encouraging public transportation is the Dutchess County bus, what's it called, the loop? They have a stop down by DDSO, probably won't be around for too much longer, given that DDSO is closing. They may keep it, I'm not sure. I believe they also stop here in Amenia as well.
I've seen them in Amenia.
I think they stop in Freshtown. And so they don't provide any sort of shelters or anything for people who use that service. I was actually surprised. I saw them letting out at DDSO a couple of weeks back, and there were, you know, 7 or 8 people that got off that bus. I was surprised there was that many. But if there is grant money in there and we are interested, it's probably a lower priority item, but we could apply for grant money to build a shelter at that location. The Freshtown location is probably more used, but also private property, so probably wouldn't work there.
That's one of the things they won't give grant money for is private property.
Yeah, that's why.
Because when I originally applied for the sidewalk grant, I also applied for the ramp and the railing that was there. And, you know, they originally turned us down because they said, well, that's privately owned, and, you know, the owner of the property needs to fix that. And then there was the piece that came out from the old Doobie department store building that needed to be repaired, which has been repaired by 4 brothers who bought the building. So I didn't think we were going to get anything, and then I got a phone call and said, well, there's money left over. If you redo your grant and take those things out of it, we'll see what we can do. And we did. We got $71,000 to repair the sidewalk grant, and currently Four Brothers has repaired their part of it, and the owner of the post office building has hired someone who came in to get a permit the other day to repair the ramp that's there and the railing. So that's in process now, so that once that's done, we can go ahead and fix the sidewalk. We're in the process now of doing RFP to get engineer and have a plan in place for construction for probably next spring.
Can you read again the part where you said they would fund reinforcing traditional centers? It's right there.
Well, that's under,
Supporting main
it's under the
Public facilities.
public facilities and improvements. Under public facilities, it said prioritize activities that
Okay.
reinforce traditional centers. Is that what you want?
Yep.
Supporting main streets, walkability, bikeability, and build on existing infrastructure.
Okay, so I think that if for some reason we could, if the extension of the sidewalk along the west Main Street could be, let's say, 100,000, and we could get 30,000 for the Fountain Square improvements, in rough numbers, 120 plus 30, then you'd have 150,000 if they fix the culvert. Maybe that is within reason that you could do the two projects together, and our priority, we'd be able to check that box that we were reinforcing traditional centers and supporting our walkability. Because I think we already have the plan ready to go. We had approximately $30,000, if I'm remembering correctly, right, Leo?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, that would be ready to roll, and a sidewalk, figuring out how much that costs to extend it to the ball field shouldn't be over 100,000, I wouldn't think, much over.
Well, we
If
have
we don't
the,
have to do the culvert.
yeah, we have the plan for it because we had it through the other
Yeah.
grant. So we already have
That
the
plan.
information. We already have the plan.
So I would recommend adding that to it if it fits in the budget.
I don't, well, we could, try doing that. I can call out there to see if
Yeah.
we would be able to do that.
I think it rests squarely on whether or not they'll redo the culvert, because I think you'd eat up everything you had repairing that culvert, right?
Well, right, but they said, they're getting back to me on whether they're going to do that piece of it.
Right.
So they're, we don't even have the grant yet, but I figure it wouldn't hurt to ask the question, since I had to talk to the resident engineer anyway. But they were, I gave him all my contact information, and he was going to go talk to a couple other people in the department, and they were going to, go take a look at it. So it sounded like they were very interested in working with us on that project. But
That sounds
we
good.
can check for both things. So we would, we would need to, for the next meeting, we'd need to do a resolution to be able to do this, because the grant is due, I think it's due on the 10th of October. But we have basically all the information, and the
Already
grant
planned.
application is pretty much just checking the boxes. So is everyone in agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
That we do the sidewalk. Okay. Any other suggestions? Okay, make a motion to close the public hearing for community development block grant suggestions.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Public comment? No? Okay. Supervisors report. Wassaic Trail to the Train update. We received the DOT highway permit We're finalizing the contractor's contract. We're reviewing options for project manager and looking at all expenses for borrowing amount decision. Regional ambulance grant, towns met and reviewed recommendations from town attorneys, sending requests to NDP with some changes in order to get a final contract that all towns are in agreement with. Through our negotiation, the 3 towns together with NDP originally wanted to proposed a 4% increase in a 3 to 5 year contract with a 4% increase every year. The 3 towns said this wasn't doable, wasn't sustainable. So NDP has agreed to keep our amount that they charge us for providing ambulance services the same for next year, which is $335,000. So that would be the same as next year. And in addition, they would like some stability, so they would like a 5-year contract at 2% each year, which is pretty much the cost of living. So by the 3 towns negotiating together with the ambulance provider, we were able to get cost savings for all 3 towns. Grant update, the town of Amenia received a hazardous mitigation grant for $100,000, $75,000 with $25,000 local match from FEMA for bank stabilization of Deep Hollow Road. Solar law public hearing date has been set. 2020 budget, tentative budget is due to the town clerk by September 30th. The 2020 budget is expected to be at or below the tax cap of 2%. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I'd like to start my report off this evening by wishing my husband, who's in the audience, a very happy birthday. It's always nice to make him turn red. And to the board, August 1st minutes are in your packets. Also, the vouchers, the abstract for payment of claims, with a date on there of September 16th, 2019, consisting of 7 pages that were audited. I present to you the following totals. General Fund A, $143,171.49. Highway Fund, $78,267.50. Amenia Lighting, $1,253.92. Wasaic Lighting, $462.35. Amenia Water, $19,385.16, for a total of $242,540.42.
Make a motion that we pay the claims as presented.
Second. Councilwoman Samoji?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
It is September, and at the end of the month, our Board of Assessment Review will have a vacancy, and Herbert Schwager is our current person whose term is expiring. I have had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Schwager, who has expressed his interest to be reappointed, and I'd like to present that this evening to the board.
I make a motion to reappoint Herb Schwager to the Board of Assessment Review
He'll have
with a
of
term expiring 2025.
2025. Thank you.
Second.
Councilwoman Samoji?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
As we are beginning to round to the end of the 2019 year, at this time I'm seeking authorization to go ahead and advertise for the upcoming volunteer positions and board positions for those that would begin with a 2020. So that would include your ZBA, your planning board, your historian, recreation, all of your committees. So I would like to do all of them at this time.
Oh,
Michelle,
I
you
agree.
move that?
Yes. I'll second. Can we have a discussion?
Oh,
Are you planning to do a press release, or are you going to put it in the?
We can try the press
Ads.
release, because always sending that to the paper, you don't always have luck with the press releases, but I figured if
might
we
not.
get now, so maybe we can have a better chance of
Getting free
making the,
requests?
that's
Yeah.
why I'm asking now for
Yep,
it.
yep.
I'll also post it on the bulletin board, and I'm looking not to have them due to us until November, but really getting the full month out there, that way it can give
Yeah.
us every opportunity. And then that way, when I get all the applications back in November, I can present them as a whole to you, and then that way, December, if those that you need to advertise, you may, interview, you may, and then you'll be
Yep.
ready for a reorg. Just trying to
Get ahead of it.
get a little ahead of it.
Yep.
The office assisted the highway superintendent, who will be presenting later, but also in your packets this evening is the highway bid results. I'm going to let Megan touch on that. Office has been
We
extremely...
didn't actually vote on the motion.
Oh,
I
go
just
ahead.
had a discussion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? As we announced 3 meetings ago, the town clerk's office went ahead and circulated to all of the residents with the assistance from our new animal control officer, Mia Genovese, a dog enumeration census notice. And we are going to display that, and hopefully you can zoom in on that for me. This notice was mailed to all residents. This notice wasn't sent to any one particular resident because a neighbor was complaining or were suspecting something. The law is on the books that all dogs in the town of Amenia that live here are to be licensed. I've been announcing it since my tenancy here. So this is our first official enumeration. It's our dog census. We are asking you that you take the time out to go ahead, complete it, mail it back to the office. I will be gathering all of this information, giving it back to Mrs. Genovese, so that way, if she does have to respond to a dog complaint, we have here on record if there is a dog or not a dog, and you're swearing to it as of this date. I would ask that all residents please just return it back. You can drop it off at any of the mailbox locations here on site, or you can scan it and email it to us. But we're asking everyone to please participate in the census and to just follow the town laws.
Do you want to know if we don't have a dog?
We do, because
Okay.
you are telling me that you do not own a dog. And
You want me
Mia,
to physically tell
yeah,
you
so you
that?
check that box
Oh,
that
I
says,
see.
I do not own
Okay.
a dog.
I got it.
And then when, or if Mia has
Yeah.
to show up and you have a 10-year-old dog who's been living with you for the last 10
You've sworn
years,
to not having a dog, okay.
that's
Yep.
for her to handle,
Okay.
how she wants to move forward. But the other thing, and it was good, was landlords have to share this with their tenants.
Right.
So we do have a lot of, homes that are rented. So I think it's just getting the word out there and explaining to our residents that it is a law on the books, and we're just trying to assist all the residents with being educated on the laws that exist.
And we'd like to really thank all the people that have responded. I
We
know the
have-
town clerk has been a little busy for the this few days.
Erica, I owe a lot of credit to Erica, coming new into the job. She is taking a lot. Of the approximately 2,000 that were mailed, we have 52 that have been returned to us already, and we have 11 new dog licenses completed. So welcome to those 11 new dogs. Those are brand new. They just moved in this month.
I have a question for you. Tally Ho has a Dover addresses.
And they were sent them.
They were sent?
They were sent to all the property owners. So the property owner would have received this, and it is his or her responsibility then go ahead and circulate it to their tenants.
Okay. I'll follow up on that.
If
Did you
you'd like, I
receive
have
one?
some I can give you.
Yes, but, excuse me?
Did you receive one?
No, I didn't receive one because
It
it
would've
went
went to the tenant.
we don't own the land, we only own our homes. It's like a condominium, so
They would have went just to the property owner.
property
So the,
owners. So if you have.
thank you.
Thank you.
If you have
So
them,
simple, right?
I will take extras and see that it gets out to,
No problem.
just in
Stay
case.
after the meeting, I'll hand them to you.
Perfect.
Thank you, I appreciate the assistance on that. And just as a friendly reminder, this Saturday, September 28th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Amenia Firehouse is having the townwide tag sale.
I think it's a week, isn't it?
Yeah, is it?
It's a week from
weekend.
Saturday.
Okay, 'cause
I'm not in town that weekend.
Okay, it's a week from
Conference.
Saturday.
Oh, thank heavens, because now I thought I lost a whole week.
I think that's
A week from Saturday.
all the announcements that were sent to me to read. So enjoy,
Do you want us to move on the minutes, Don?
if you can.
I have one question just about the executive session. The description of George Lithgow as ZBA attorney and ZBA chair.
Give me 1 second. That'd be Terry Metcalf. Did I not list him as, you invited, motion to enter into executive session relating to the proposed litigation, current litigation, to, the town clerk was excused, including town board members, town attorney, George Lithgow, ZBA attorney, and the ZBA chair. All of you had a meeting. The town
The ZBA
attorney,
attorney was not there.
George Lithgow was.
the ZBA,
George was there.
isn't the
He
ZBA
was there
attorney
by-
George Lithgow?
He was there by conference call.
No, he's only attorney for the one application. But
Yeah,
the regular ZBA attorney is Dave Everett's office.
Okay, so
So
he
you
wasn't
need to
acting
just-
as your
yeah.
No,
ZBA
he
attorney
wasn't
that
there.
evening?
No,
Wasn't there.
so just take ZBA
Not
attorney
acting
out.
as.
No,
Yeah,
We'll take out
just,
this,
he's special counsel for the.
just special counsel. Should I list him as special counsel or just as Esquire then at that point?
Yeah, that would be okay.
Just Esquire?
You could call him special counsel for the litigation, that's fine.
So we're going to take out ZBA attorney, we're going to add Esquire, special counsel for litigation.
so with that
Thank
change,
you on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with that edit.
Second.
And I got yours.
Oh, you had another one?
There was a change.
Yeah, we switched out, when I switched out on page 2, the abstain was on the employment of counsel for legal service. It went on the wrong motion.
Needs to
Ah.
go.
I gotta just switch those out. So that was a switch on our end here. But it was for Kent Hollow.
So she put it on the wrong motion.
Got all excited about
Yeah, she fixed it, but she fixed it on the
wrong
wrong motion.
motion. But that's with the amendment.
Okay, so you're going to amend it
Yeah.
with those? Okay.
They, public only sees the clean copy, they don't get the draft. They don't even know they're amended.
So we could vote on the amended minutes,
Yeah,
I
the
need a
motion
second.
needs to say the amended.
minutes.
Oh, I, wait, am I voting?
Damien moved.
I moved to approve the amended minutes.
Okay, and I second
Second,
for the
Michelle.
amended minutes. Okay, just trying to follow the train.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So the final ones was what you see outlined.
Is that the end of your report?
That's the end of my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Highway report, bid openings.
Okay. Everything's been going pretty good. We've been pretty busy. We've hauled in our winter sand, so that's all stocked up and ready. Last week, we went to a Drive to Survive training class, sponsored by NYMER. And the last couple of days, we've been touching up the dirt roads. So if we go through the highway bids. Okay, start on the wash gravel. So we did our yearly bid for the highway equipment and material on September 11th. and we received 17 bids.
17 bids?
17 bids.
All right.
I believe we had 17 last year, too.
17 or 18.
Okay, where did you want to start, Megan?
Wash gravel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, the first one, Domain, inch and a quarter stone, pickup $17 a ton, delivered. Red Wing, $19 a ton delivered. I went with Domain. As far as distance, Dover's closer.
Why didn't you go with Red Wing on both of them? The price looks like it's less.
I went with Domain because Dover's closer.
Domain
Distance,
on the pickup and Red Wing on the delivery, right?
Domain pickup and Red Wing delivered, 19.
My question was, Red Wing appears to be less than Domain on the pickup.
Right,
It's just got to drive to Stormville to get the 13.
right, you're looking.
I'm
over-
sorry?
It's just to drive to Stormville to get that versus going to Dover Plains.
Dover's
Oh.
5,
It'd
10
be like
miles
going
down the
to
road,
Home
Red
Depot
Wing's
to save a couple of
probably an hour
dollars.
trip.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then 3/4 stone, I suggest we get a pickup, Harlem Valley, $15 a ton, and delivered $17.50 from Harlem Valley. Also, same thing, Jim, distance, you're looking at another probably hour trip, where am I at here? Pickup, yeah, it's the same thing, distance, fuel, going to Millbrook. It's probably another hour trip to there and back. That's down past Troop K. Next 2.5-inch stone. Domain 17 picked up, $22.50 delivered. Talons, Harlem Valley, $12.50 a ton picked up, $15 a ton delivered. Wash sand, $10.45 picked up, $12.95 delivered, both Harlem Valley. Item 4, Harlem Valley, $13.50 picked up, $16 delivered, both Harlem Valley. 1-inch minus screen fill, Coloruso, $8.75 picked up, and $17.75 delivered, Coloruso. New York State DOT blue item. Coloruso, $9.75 picked up, and Coloruso, $18.75 delivered. Dry screen sand, Domain, $12.25 picked up, $17.75 delivered. Quartz quarry stone, 1/4 inch. Peckhams, $14 a ton picked up, and $20.50 delivered. Again, distance, Hudson's over an hour away, Pleasant Valley's closer. And 3/8 stone, $14 picked up, Peckhams, and $20.50 delivered Peckhams. Domains is the white stone. We use blue stone. And Bank Run. Harlem Valley, $10 picked up. Harlem Valley, $12.50 delivered. Light stone fill. 1175 Calaruso picked up, 2075 Calaruso delivered. Medium stone fill, 1425 picked up, 2825 delivered. And heavy stone fill, 1425 picked up, 2825 delivered. Next one's calcium, liquid calcium, Peckham's, $1.11 per gallon delivered. And ESP pallets, $4.98 for a pallet of calcium, 50-pound bags. Bituminous mixes, cold patch by the ton. I went with Peckham's, $93 a ton picked up. Again, it's closer. And blacktop bags, $369.60 per pallet from Package Pavement. And then blacktop, I chose Calaruso out of the Amenia plant. Again, the prices are a little higher. The distance, fuel, wear and tear on the vehicle. We don't have heated trucks. A lot of times coming out of winter, we go and grab a ton in here and there to do patches, potholes, ton here and there to do pipes, to fill pipes back in after we replace them. To drive to Peckham's, you're looking at, if you're going to get a ton or two, you're looking hour trip. By the time we get back, you can basically throw it out because it'll be hard. So with that, and Calaruso did take over the Amenia plant last year, in case you didn't know. So I believe you should choose Calaruso out of the Amenia plant. Road oils. Gorman and Peckham's both bid. I recommend we choose Peckham's. The price per day is slightly cheaper. I highlighted the CRS 2Ps, the oil per gallon, and then down to the equipment for Gorman and Peckham's. It's, on an 8-hour day. The next page breaks it all down per day, per price, per machine, and transport. If we did a day, we say we use 13,342 gallons of oil, and then you got their price per oil that they gave, and then the machine to put it down, the roller, their prices, the transport, that a day's job. Peckham's would be $37,104.74, and Gorman would be $37,304.48. So it was close. So I chose Peckham's. We did not receive any concrete bids. We sent them out, but nothing came back.
Didn't we have a shared services roller? Is that a different kind of a roller?
No,
Don't we?
we don't have a roller. We have a paver and
We have a
From shared service.
What are you looking
We had
at?
a shared service paper and,
Oh, I was just
What was the
back on the
question?
road oils, and then I saw the
The ro-
roller bids.
That's a rubber tire roller for the oil and stone. Where
Okay.
that other roller is a steel roller, would be for blacktop. So any blacktopping we do is going to be OGS or a shared roller, so we wouldn't be using them.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Catch basins. ESP for the catch basins is number 1, 2, and 3. They all go to ESP. And then Chemung for number 4, catch basin, and the grate and frame. And equipment rentals. Dump trucks. Okay, triaxle 20 yard, $120 an hour with operator, Cat Construction. Bulldozer, Komatsu 39, $145 an hour with operator, Stan Whitehead Excavating. Excavators, a Cat 312 with thumb, $145 an hour with operator, Stan Whitehead. And also the Kubota down at the bottom with thumb, KX40 with thumb. Suggest we take both. Again, it's got the thumb, we got big rocks and stuff to pick up. That'll help us with that. And I also like to accept the Cat Construction, the Komatsu excavator for $190 an hour with operator. That's a bigger machine than the 312, so if we need something bigger, we'll have something bigger. An excavator hammer, Cat Construction for the Komatsu excavator with hammer, $250 an hour with operator. And I also like to accept the Kubota with hammer, $175 an hour with operator, Stan Whitehead Excavating. One's a big hammer, one's a smaller hammer. Cat Construction's got the bigger hammer, can hammer a lot bigger, harder rock, where the small one will be break up like sidewalks, get them all squished up better for the trucks if we got to haul anything away. And Cat Construction for the skid steer planer, $175 an hour with operator. Rollers, Stan Whitehead Excavating, ham rollers. It's a 20,000 pound roller. It's also like 10 ton for $145. Paver, again, all paving will be done off the quick quote from OGS and the shared equipment, service equipment. And then down below is transportation charge for Cat Construction, $150 an hour. That's pickup and delivery. And Stan Whitehead Excavating, $125 per move. And reclaimer Peckhams, $5,520 a day Tree work. I think we should choose Lee's Trees. Lee's Trees is $1,800 a day, and Integrals was $2,080. Sean is $1,800, no matter if he brings the chipper, the truck, anything he wants. The $2,080 was for Integral, was just for the truck and the chip box and chipper. Sweeping, Easy Street, $125 an hour.
Make
That's
a
it.
motion that we accept the highway material bids as read by the highway superintendent.
Second?
Jim? Councilwoman Smoji?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Megan, thank you for dropping off a second load of wood chips at Borden Park for the second.
more. We got a 6-wheeler low. The county was getting low, so I grabbed the load.
That looks like enough.
Recreation?
Okay, recreation. Boy, do I have a ton of stuff, but okay. This is the good stuff, folks, so pay attention to this, you're gonna love this. Some of it's a little mixed here, but anyway. Tally Ho residents want to say thank you to Chris and Donna of the... Oh, well, I'm sorry. Tally,
it on?
Yes, I think it's got a red button. Tally Ho residents want to say thank you to Chris and Donna in our assessor's office for helping straighten out the STAR program. Folks got their checks this month, September, and they were very happy with it because they could do needed home repairs or replacement of things, and it was wonderful, and they just want to say thank you. So that's an aside of recreation. The Christmas program, Sarah, and I'm going to have to spell her name, C-O-U-C-O-U, something like that. So bad with names. She's from Sharon Playhouse, and she will direct the show. We will meet on Monday, this Monday coming at 12:30 here at the Town Hall. She will view the venue and go out and go over details. Her credits, she has a lot of credits. Oh my gosh, here's her credits. That's many things. Too many papers and not enough of me. She's a wonderful, I met her at the Sharon Playhouse, and
She's a dance instructor.
she's a dance instructor and a whole lot of other wonderful things. Anyway, her bio, this is her short bio. I'm going to ask her Monday to bring us the big long one, but I'll just read it to folks so you know who she is. I spelled her name wrong. It's C-U-O-C-O, teacher and choreographer. Sarah spent 16 years as a teacher and choreographer with a focus on ballet and jazz. She has trained with Gail Gerber of Les Grands Ballets des Canadians. I think that's how it is. She taught at the ballet school in Lakeville and the studio in Amenia as a certified body art instructor and has a teacher certificate from the National Dance Institute founded by I think it's Jacques D'Ambrose. So I do have some, so if you guys wanted to see her stuff, there's a little bit of a thing here. You can just see that if you'd like to see that. She was very excited. I spoke with Hal, the director at the Sharon Playhouse that night, and he said, I have somebody right here. I'll talk to her first and see what she says. He talked to her, and after the show, we went back and he introduced me to her and everything, and she was very excited and she wants to come. So I told her We don't have a lot of stuff here, but she's willing to come and try to do things. So hopefully we will get that done. And I think it's going to be an exciting show. I think whatever she comes up with, I'm happy. So it'll be really good that we finally found someone as competent as she is. The bus trip to Silver Birches, there's only 4 seats left, and you have to let me know by next Wednesday because the money's going in, and that's it. That's the end of that one. The casino trip, I know people have asked about casino trips. We cannot do them in the town of Amenia. There's a lot of laws that prohibit us from doing that, and I'm not going to bore you with them all, okay? That's simply it. Casino trips. Details for the Christmas party is at the pond. They'll be coming out next month on that. It's going to be a sit-down dinner. We're not going to do buffet like last year. So that'll be coming to you. Now, this is a little bit, it's not, but I just want to do it all, Victoria, so you don't have to listen to me later.
Okay.
On Tuesday, September 17th, I attended a conference for the Veterans Liaisons, and I'm the liaison for the veterans in Amenia. Every town board selected someone to be the liaison for their town. And at that meeting, they all showed up. So it was really a great meeting. My brain is overloaded. I don't, there's so much stuff going on with the veterans. Mark Molinaro was there, and Sue was there too.
Serena?
Yes.
Senator Serena.
Senator Serena, yes, the senator was there. They were very nice and telling a lot of things. And I wrote this in my own handwriting, that's why I'm having trouble. Okay, we're the first group in the state, Dutchess County. This is all in Dutchess County. Everybody from Dutchess County. So, and we're the first group that has been started, and the gentleman that runs the program, so many things, so many names, and so little time. For the Division of Veteran Services. Now, this is for us, Dutchess County. If you want to, they will help you connect with the federal veterans group if you're a veteran, okay? His name is Mark Coviello, C-O-V-I-E-L-L-O. He's director of the American Legion Accredited Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services, Behavioral and Community Health. He's a lovely person. He's 28 years old. He's a veteran, so he's young, and he's looking at the younger veterans, that's not the older ones too, but the younger veterans that are coming in now with so many different things. And he's reaching out, and there's marvelous, marvelous programs, marvelous ones. And those of us who were there, we were very interested in it. And one of the suggestions that I had made to them was that instead of my trying to type up all this information they gave me and put it on, what is our web page or town page, because I know Damie's looking at me going, that's not going to happen with her. She can't even find the page. I suggested that, well, for us, that we put a section in there that says the veterans liaison so we can make contact. And also, I suggested to them that they give us those contact, those things you punch, the contact, so that if you came onto our web page that says that, and you were looking for example, the thing with the Lola project, which is dogs, for you, benefit service dogs, especially veterans of armed forces and emergency services. You can hit that thing, and you can get all their information. You see how you would get a dog, what kind of a dog. They said even if you have a dog already, if you're a veteran and you have a dog already that you're, that they will help you work with that dog so that dog will become your service dog. It will have the credibility for it. They have interpreter services, you know, hearing loss and things of that, and they have so many things. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I had no idea so many things were going on. This gentleman, Mark, he brought it to Mark Molinaro and said, I would like to do this. I would like to set this program up. And Mark said, okay, let's do it. And he got a tremendous response. And one of the things he gets is, he gets all the names of any veterans returning to who's going to come to Dutchess County, and that's making Dutchess County their home. He gets their names and their addresses. And he sent out 331 a couple of months back there, a month so, and he's going to be sending out another 85 letters. He sends letters to these people who are returning, men and women, and tells them all about the services that they have, and how to contact him, and how to get help for all that they're doing. One of the things is that many veterans aren't joining the VFWs and stuff, and the VFWs and stuff, veterans, we need your voices there, because your voices help the people move the kind of legislature things that you need. If we have your voices, you know, I might think something's very nice, but I'm not a veteran. I don't know. We need your voices. So they want to encourage all of you, men and women who are from the services, veterans, to just join or visit your local VFW, pick one and become a member of it, because I believe that they believe that you will find brothers and sisters in arms who will understand what's going on in your life right now. And they said that the hardest part for the veteran is when they come out of service, they come home, and they have that space of time where they haven't acclimated themselves to the new life that they have. So if you can get with the VFW area, or just call the Division of Veteran Services, they will help you acclimate yourself to the new life. They will help you with transportation. They will help you with housing, medical. They will help you with any forms that you have to fill out that you don't know how to do yourself, or, you know, like me, I can't fill out a form. They will do it for you. They will sit down with you and do it for you and help you get all the services that you need, because there are so many. And these services are free to veterans. You don't pay for this stuff. It's free to you. So they will help you with the medical, physical, housing, transportation, so many things. So I heartily recommend and advise all you veterans from wherever area you were there. There was veterans there at the meeting from World War II. God bless him. And we had Korean veterans there at the meeting, and Vietnam veterans, and also veterans that were the overseas in the Iraq War and the other wars that we have over there. So please don't think that you're too young to join, or whatever it is. I don't know. Join. Go and see them, because when you meet your fellow soldiers, you will understand why it's a good thing for you. Okay? And that's just my spiel to you guys. And that's all I have.
Are there any other committee reports?
CAC actually forego their meeting and instead met at the Millerton Theater last night for a movie, Big Little Farm, I think it was called. It was an award-winning documentary about ecological farming, the benefits of it, and the healthy food, and the importance to the environment and climate, so climate change. So it was very interesting, and that's all I have.
Resolution adopting an updated employee handbook, resolution number.
69.
Adopting Town of Amenia Employee Handbook, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia is desirous of maintaining an up-to-date employee handbook which details current and accurate personnel policies and procedures, employee benefits, compliance policies, and other pertinent information governing employment-related matters, whereas the Town Board has retained public sector HR Consultants LLC to prepare a revised and updated version of the town's employee handbook that accomplishes the foregoing objectives. Whereas the Town Board has reviewed draft versions of said updated employee handbook, has made determination as to appropriate content, now therefore be it resolved this 19th day of September 2019 that the attached document, I guess it isn't attached, be adopted as the official employee handbook of the Town of Amenia. Be it further resolved that the newly updated and revised Town of Amenia employee handbook shall be distributed with signed acknowledgement to all town officials and employees. Can I make that motion?
I second the motion of adopting the Town of Amenia Employee Handbook.
Discussion. The draft that we got was the red line version. I don't know that we ever saw a final clean. Or were there two versions on that email?
The email that was sent had 2 versions. There was, there should have been a final and a red line on that.
Okay.
There should have been.
I think there was both of them.
Just check. So I had a.
And we reviewed, you reviewed the comment, you and Jeff, that
Yep.
Damien made?
Yeah, the comment that you had with regards to potential conflict with the FMLA, I believe
Yes.
is what it was. I read the 2 sections, and the section indicated that that the town has to comply with FMLA, but it also states that there has to be a certain number of employees to actually qualify under it. So yes, they have to qualify for it. We don't have the number of employees, so therefore we don't fall within it. I checked that with Jeff as well, and he agreed with me, and so we didn't feel that there was any conflict between the 2 languages on that, so.
Okay.
But we did look at it. And you should have been sent both versions. If you want a final version, I can.
I'm trying to load it on my phone, but I didn't get it, or it's not working. As long as everybody else here has seen it and gotten a chance to go through it, then I'm good.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes,
And Councilwoman Simoji?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing license agreement with Dutchess Community College, resolution number 70.
70.
Authorizing a license agreement with Dutchess Community College for English as a second language, whereas the Town of Amenia Town Board has determined it is in the best interest of the town for the public to have courses of instruction available for learning English as a second language, whereas Dutchess Community College can provide such a course at the Amenia Town Hall, provided the town makes available to them one classroom large enough to safely accommodate up to 30 students, one instructor for 12 hours per week, on Mondays through Thursday between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. for the period from September 1st, 2019 to August 31st, 2020. Whereas such a classroom is available at the Amenia Town Hall, it's not currently being used by the town for town business. Whereas the town board desires to provide DCC with a license to use one classroom within the Amenia Town Hall building for the purpose of providing ESL courses to members of the public. Whereas the town board wishes to authorize the town supervisor to enter into a license agreement in the form attached hereto a DCC to allow DCC to use one classroom within the Amenia Town Hall for the purposes of offering an ESL course to members of the public for no more than 12 hours per week for each course on Monday through Thursday between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. for the period from September 1st, 2019 to August 31st, 2020. Whereas as the authorization to enter into a license agreement for the use of a classroom in Amenia Town Hall is a Type 2 action that is exempt from secret. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to enter into and execute the license agreement with DCC in the form attached hereto and any documents necessary or incidental to effectuate said license agreement. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we are authorizing a license agreement with the Dutchess Community College for English as a second language program.
Second. Discussion?
Yes.
Did we get the license that's referenced here? I don't remember that coming through.
That was also emailed.
Was it? Could we have these, if we reference something as part of a resolution,
Yeah, usually, yeah, I'll make sure you're there.
can we have them as part of the packet, just in
We
case?
usually email it, so I don't know how, I don't put the packet together, obviously, but.
Right. Okay. I personally do not remember
You pass that down.
reviewing the license,
Here goes.
but I'm supportive of the program, and I'm assuming it's not any different than it has been for the last.
No, we're just renewing it.
Okay. Great.
Ian provided me that copy
The-
tonight.
The program is it's actually a couple less classes than in years past, and the high school equivalency is not part of it this year. This is only English as a second language. So in prior years, they had the high school equivalency program running along with it. It's not included this year due to, I was told, just enrollment, not sufficient enrollment.
That's because they offer it at Dover. Dover High School, they offer that.
But from an enrollment standpoint, didn't they need an additional room this past year?
They did. They had different classes at different levels that were being offered. Two of the teachers that were instructing are no longer instructing at this time. And there's no classes scheduled through December as of right now. So we're hoping to pick it back up in January.
Okay.
Resolution for transfer of funds.
Resolution.
Sorry, go ahead.
Supervisor Brody, okay. Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smoji?
Yes.
Resolution 71, transfer of funds for September 2019. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary or unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund. Okay, budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 11104.01.065, Justice's CE supplies by $650, and increasing expense line 11104.01.131, Justice's CE Town Prosecutor by $650, and decreasing expense line 11104.01.076, Justice's CE Technical Support by $1,300 for unanticipated supply expenses. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 85104.01, Community Beautification by $2,820.52, and decreasing expense line 73104.01.121, Youth Program CE Senior League by $500.30, decreasing expense line 73104.01.094, Youth Program CE Softball by $697.42, and decreasing expense line 73104.01.095, Youth Program CE Connie Mack by $1,622.80 for Climate Smart Grant HVA cost. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 08.01.037 medical insurance town deductible by $1,648.57, and decreasing expense line 10104.01.048 town board CE conferences by $1,000, decreasing expense line 14704.01 ethics board CE by $350, decreasing expense line 14404.01 engineers CE by $298.57 for unanticipated expenses. Whereas budget amendment, the general fund increasing revenue, increasing expense line 67724.01.088 programs for aging CE picnic by $127.47, and decreasing 65104.01.084 veteran services CE VFW by $127.47 for Dutchess County Senior Picnic cost share. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund increasing the appropriated fund balance account 599 from assessor capital fund CD by $20,333.26 and increasing expense line 13554.04.044 assessor CE tertiary by $20,333.26 for unanticipated legal expenses. Whereas budget amendment, the general fund increasing expense line 16204.01.062 building CE maintenance by $14,469.91, and decreasing expense line 71454.01 summer rec program by $4,747.25, decreasing expense line 71454.01 intercommunity rec CE by $828.79, decreasing expense line 71454.01.030 intercommunity rec CE trips by $1,554.99, and decreasing expense line 71454.01.031 intercommunity rec CE transportation by $2,338.88, decreasing expense line 16804.01 data processing CE by $5,000 for electrical and HVAC expenses. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Amenia authorize the transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transactions. And I make that motion.
I second.
Discussion.
Okay.
I guess we'll talk about the Climate Smart Grant HVA costs.
Yeah, I
in a
put that in
moment.
your packet.
Yeah, all right, so I'll,
That was, Marge and I went through all the different lines, and all the Gatsby lines, and the one that it seemed to fit the best out of, to take the amount out of, was the community beautification.
okay.
So that is going to result in no picnic benches. I mean, you basically stripped out what was in there.
No, we put all the money from all the summer rec money that was left over.
But you took out money out of the community beautification to pay for the stream.
Yes, and if you need
Stream
picnic
from-
benches, we can put more, but you hadn't ordered them yet. If you want to do picnic benches, we can still do them.
Okay, you think you can find money elsewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But we needed to pay this bill, so I had to,
And that was the Dutchess County picnic.
Right,
That we
yeah,
had down
we have to pay per-
wherever it is,
yeah, we're
Boys
going
Park.
to put more money in that line
Yeah, because.
to cover that next year.
Right, 'cause
Because
we-
we never know how many, it's per person, and we never know how many people are
We
going.
never know.
And then the medical insurance town deductible increase, was that a deductible increase?
No, it was because there wasn't enough money in that line to cover the deductible.
Yeah, but didn't we budget, I mean, didn't we know what our payments were going to, did we just have a change in number of people covered, or why did?
No, it was just one person.
Okay. Okay.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Smargy?
Yes.
Okay, Dutchess County SBCA contract discussions. You have both the current contract and the new contract.
Wait,
Ian?
sorry. Before we jump up, this, I thought we were going to cover this later.
What?
This is the Climate Smart Community Certification. Will we just transfer that money to pay that $5,736?
Right, that was our percentage of the cost.
So can we, I wasn't aware that there was a cost associated with this program. Does anybody have more detail on this or understand what this is for?
So the payment that you just made, Victoria, was for the townwide
Yeah,
road stream vulnerabilities assessment?
yeah,
Basically,
it's for our percentage of it.
What happens,
like
yeah,
our
there's
match?
3 towns.
There's more than other,
So-
no, there's other towns in it.
But it's
It's
I thought it was a
Dover
grant. Why are we
And
paying?
Millerton, so there's cost sharing involved. So some grants require a percentage of the grant funds to be contributed by the grant awarded, so that there's skin in the game, basically.
Got it. Okay.
So this is, as I understand and recall from the grant application, is that it would be for assessing all of the, everywhere in the town of Amenia where a road meets a stream, which is more often than you realize. There is a culvert there. Culverts there are typically undersized because what has happened is we have more frequent and more severe weather events. Let's say there's all of a sudden a downpour, and that affects the capacity of the culvert. So whenever you change out culverts, for the most part, I don't know, Megan, you could maybe confirm or whatever, is that they tend to go bigger, right? Because the 100-year floodplain has been changed and increased, because we have these severe weather activities. So to prevent flooding and to make sure we're compliant with environmental issues, they are assessing all of those. And that will put you in the running for grants that will then help
Okay.
you
So that's
for
what
these
For the
culverts,
So
which
that's
are
what
expensive.
UConn's role is then. They'll be performing the assessment. That's what the grant, okay, I get it.
And then we'll be eligible for grant money to
Okay.
do any culvert repair
Right,
that
but you
needs to be
have to
done.
do this step first to be eligible for the future stuff.
That makes sense.
Okay?
Thanks.
Okay, Ian? The contract? Our animal control person would like us to sign an additional contract for the, in addition to the Dutchess County SPCA, and I had Ian review the contract and also the new one that, that Dutchess County SPCA is proposing for 2020.
Both contracts require that all dogs seized by the animal control officer be delivered to the SPCA, which limits you. It means they want every dog. So there is language in here that should be negotiated if
Do
you
you
want
want
to
to
have
pull
multiple.
your microphone a
Yep.
little closer?
There is language in here that needs to be negotiated if you want to have multiple different boarding houses or options for the dogs. It's something that we would have to negotiate with the SPCA. I did go through the contract. There are a number of new provisions in the new contract. There's some additional requirements on the town. There's a couple new costs to the town, but I don't think any of it is it's largely similar, and there's not any horrific changes, but there are aspects of this that could probably be negotiated. Most importantly, if the town wants to have multiple different boarding houses, then the language needs to be edited.
So our current contract goes through the end of 2019. Why are we doing this now? Why are they suggesting this change now? Do we know?
No, they
This
just,
is
they
the-
always, they just send the contract
So
for
this
the
is for
next year.
2020?
Correct, yeah, this is the renewal contract.
They
I'm sorry.
just sent it, but we were trying to see, because our new animal control person wanted to have an additional contract with another provider. So I had Ian look at the contract to see if we were able to do that without breaching our contract that we have.
Correct, and I don't think the way the contract is currently written that you can enter into another contract, not without being in breach.
Okay, so,
Unless we amend it.
Unless you amend the contract, so we can work, again, you can enter into negotiation with SPCA to see if they're willing to amend that provision for entering into a new contract right now, or when it's time for renewal, when it comes to renewal, we negotiate it into the new renewal, and we
So-
just wait before we,
I mean, we signed a contract with Dutchess County SPCA for a year. What's the driving, what's behind the request to have an additional facility that we can use? Are they not?
It was
are we not-
closer,
It's just closer
yeah,
cost too, I think,
and the cost
in
was,
cost?
yeah.
So
Okay.
what's the other place that's being recommended as an
Pine
alternative?
Plains.
It's
So-
not being recommended in the alternative, it's being recommended in addition to.
In addition to,
They have better costs, but the time, they aren't available on weekends.
Okay.
I think that was the major difference. So it would be working both contracts, if both facilities were willing to enter into the contracts.
So can you do a huge favor then, and can you just run like track changes on these two? And
Other differences?
yeah, have you done that already? And if you have,
Sure,
can you share
I've done it in my note format, but I could certainly have one prepared and send it out. It would be cleaner than the notes that,
whatever.
but I could have one, I don't know if I have this in a Word document or not, but I could, if I can't do it in a track change, I'll do it in a memo format, indicating what's different, the differences, additional language, some of the additional responsibilities on the town.
All the responsibilities now fall in the town clerk's office.
Fun.
Fun. And this actually came out to all of the town clerks in the county that currently use SPCA, and all of us had this exact conversation as to now we are responsible for collecting these fees from the dog owner and then being invoiced, where in the old
Potentially
one...
next year, right?
Potentially.
Correct.
So when
Not
we
in
all
the-
received them, and this was going to be brought up to the boards as our concern, saying, please work with us and fight for us that this change should not be acceptable, because it was drafted into this new form without even asking. So this is a standard form that went out to all of the other towns in the county that are using them, and we highlighted that new addition, that we didn't find that responsibility should fall on us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then we're getting, be invoiced by them, and then we just felt like there was such a disconnect. How do we know? There's just so many things. Like, do we know it's their dog? Is this the correct amount? How do we know this is really what's happening? We don't know what the relationship is between
Right.
owner and dog. And then if you read in there, if they're not picked up because they can't pay the fees that they stated, then the town is going to be liable for these holding fees. So say, a little dog gets found, it's staying out there, 1 month's gone by, 2 months have gone by, and they're going to hold the dog, and the town is going to be paying. So now these are costs incurred on us, which of course then before it was incurred on SPCA, but
I thought we were
Understood. There's-
always,
Well,
we were
Yeah, you-
always required to pay for the animals that weren't claimed.
that weren't,
But we did like 7 days or something like that, and
yeah,
that
it
was max.
it was different, and if you look at the
The
other
breakdown on how they did it is different this year as well. Again, I can break it down in a memo format if necessary. But there are 3 different areas where they switch the responsibility from SPCA receiving and collecting fees to the town clerk doing it. There's three different sections for that.
I'm sure they'd rather not.
Yeah.
Okay, but just to reiterate, our current contract, which goes until the end of this year, it has not changed at all, and they're not proposing a change to it. This would be for next year, and we have time to
Yeah,
talk about
time to
that.
negotiate it, time to talk about it, but if the interest of the town is to have multiple different boarding facilities, then there's absolute changes that need to happen to this contract, because under your current contract, I don't think you're permitted to do it.
Yeah.
Typically, during the course of a year, how many dogs are housed by the SPCA?
I wouldn't, that information was not, we,
I don't think we used it very
We
often.
haven't-
Is it a lot, or
No.
No, we haven't used them very often.
no,
less than 50?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
yes.
one a year if we're lucky. I mean,
Oh,
really, we
Okay,
don't.
all right.
We usually settle it.
Yeah, we're more
And we-
like,
and
here.
that was where the disconnect was. Like, we were unaware of the animals that were going there when they should have started here. I mean, I think a lot it's going to be corrected this year, so I want to start with a clean slate.
Okay.
But we're just not happy with the changes in this contract as town clerks. That was our position, is that we wanted to fight this, and we were even thinking about inviting them to one of our luncheons, and like, no.
Well, I mean, that they make, it's a third-person thing if they go to the town clerk. They've got the dog, and they know who the owner is of the dog. It's Mary Jones. Mary Jones has to pay the fee. If we pay the fee, then we have to go after Mary Jones.
Correct.
And I don't think we should be going after Mary Jones, because it's not our dog, it's her dog, and she should pay for her dog.
Who's Mary Jones?
If there's a real Mary Jones out there, we're sorry.
We're sorry, Mary Jones, that we named you.
Ian, if you
For
could
next
just
meeting.
highlight the differences in the newly proposed contract and share that around, that would be great.
I can do that.
and then we need to decide whether or not we want to have a discussion with Dutchess County SPCA about an amended contract in order to allow
Yeah.
another boarding
Yes,
facility.
yes.
I mean, I think that's a separate matter. I'm personally of the opinion, if this is such a small issue and there's only 3 months, whatever, left in the year, we signed a contract, I mean,
No,
Well,
this is
time of
for
year, we're going to be
next
getting
year.
all of the contracts, planning, zoning.
Yeah,
like-
Well, the
Yeah,
only
I'm-
one
I'm-
we're
So this is
talking
one of
about
them.
is this
I'm
right
talking
now.
about, it's probably not critical to expend a lot of effort to amend the current contract. That
No.
only has 3 months left on it.
No,
Right.
we're talking about
That's what we're doing.
2020.
2020, yeah.
Well, but that's not what Ian was saying before.
No,
He's
there-
saying if we wanted to.
No,
use
I
somebody
understand
else.
what Damien's saying. I mean, if we wanted to try to negotiate an amendment at this point to enter into a
Oh, we're not
contract
talking
now,
about
Okay,
that can be
that's what-
discussed. If that's not, then that's off the table.
So no,
Otherwise,
we're not
this is
doing-
your
yeah, we're not
facility
looking
for
into
the
it.
end of
It's
the year.
not worth
Great.
it for.
Correct.
No.
No, so let's just do like we do every year, and if we have the proposed contract from these guys, we could shop around for other, whatever the
Providers.
recommendation is from our officer, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, Trail to the Train, I did mention briefly some of the, where we are with it
Sounded
right now.
positive. Better update than last meeting, right?
Yes, we do have the, I received the highway permit. I've been looking for a project manager. Someone came to see me today who was recommended by a local contracting person and who is well-known to John Andrews. He's known him for the last 4 or 5 years. He was a project manager for a construction company. He's taken the information that I was sent from DOT about what the responsibilities were for a project manager, and he will be getting back to me shortly. The other thing that we need to look at, Ian is working with the contractor. There were a couple of things on the contract for the contractor that need to be addressed before I can sign it. And the other thing is we need to make a decision about how much we want to borrow for the project. The bid for the construction bid was $1,224,397. Metro North is projecting another $100,000 for flagman cost, in addition to whatever we'll be paying the project manager. also asked John Andrews, what is the usual fee for a project manager? And he told me anywhere from $45 to $65 an hour. So we have a projected, a possible project manager who's very interested, has a lot of
God bless you.
experience actually being for several companies, being a senior project manager and estimator with several companies in the last few years. So when I hear back from him, and then we'll have to see how much we actually want to borrow for this project and do a resolution.
So one recommendation on the comp for the project manager, given that there's a full-time requirement here, why don't we just pick a day rate or something that as opposed to an hourly?
Yeah, what we'd be doing with the project manager, I've also looked into the county requirements. We would the town of Amenia has to hire him, but he would be a temporary employee for 3 months.
Okay. So you mentioned the head of facilities, that position. Vicki, I don't know if you have a copy of this you want to take. I had brought this up, I think, last year during budget time.
Oh, okay. For
Back.
full-time?
Yeah, I mean, if this can also serve as an opportunity, we don't have to decide this now, but we should think about it come budget time. If we find a great candidate and we hire somebody that can help us with this project, it might make sense to have them, considered for this position, or just to think about this position in general. But this would address a lot of the issues that we've seen come before this board. Some of the maintenance issues with the parks, some of the, maintenance priorities that we have here with Town Hall and some of our other town-owned facilities and properties. It just seems like, there's an exhibited need for this kind of role, and if we're going to hire for it, and if we can afford it next year, seems to me like a good idea.
You all have to look at the county titles and see which
Sure.
one fits.
Yeah, I'd made
Because
that
we
one up,
can't,
but
yeah.
you get the idea. So
Right.
it's basically a facilities director. There's a lot of towns that have Department of Public Works, and so this would basically be the person who ran that department. You could look at it, that we don't have that department, but
Well, at the county level, there's no Department of Public Works for towns. It's for cities and villages.
for cities and villages.
But there are, I have actually pulled some job description and titles that, with this in mind, for the budget.
Awesome. Okay, great.
I made an inquiry of a former client of mine that's in the road construction business. And I told him that we were probably looking for somebody that was retired, that we needed probably for about 3 or 4 months. And he's been working on it, but he said it's pretty tough. He said there's such a shortage of good project managers that,
Yeah, this particular person is retired.
yeah. But he says a lot of them, they're pulling them out of retirement because good ones are tough to find, and they're worth their weight in gold, he said.
And he lives right in Amenia.
Oh, that's super.
Oh, this would
That
be,
sounds
this would be the
ideal.
answer to the problem, if you can get this
Living
fellow.
close by would make a
Right.
lot of difference.
Yeah.
And John Andrews said he's known him for the last 4 or 5 years. He was excited when I gave him the name, so.
Can you let us know as soon as you hear back from
Yeah.
John Andrews?
I don't know, I already heard back from John Andrews.
I mean, meaning
From the,
about whether or not he's available and what the
well,
cost would be.
I already met with the person before the meeting, that's why I was running late in here, and gave him all the information because I had asked DOT for the specific job description of project manager and gave him that. And in addition, I gave him the plans for the trail, so he's going to let me know in a couple days.
Okay. Can we meet him, interview him?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to hire anybody, but I just happened to get his name like this morning.
It's perfect.
So I said, can you come in and see me today?
Sure, certainly.
And so, just to tell him what it was, because he kind of wanted to know what it was first. And then we'll set up if he's interested, we'll set up a meeting for him to meet the board
Great.
and interview.
I did also want to comment on the discussion that I missed during the last meeting about the MTA's Metro North's force account. So just, in my day job, we're doing projects with MTA. We have the same force account requirements. They do ask that you set aside, like you said, a lot more than they anticipate that will be used, but it's just a cautionary, conservative estimate. So the force account, they may be asking us to set aside, what was it, 200% of the actual expected cost? Do you remember what they said?
Right.
Something like that.
They already have, before they would give me the permit, their entry permit, they waived the $1,200 fee and they required $49,000.
Right.
So they already have $49,000 in a force account. They're estimating it to be possibly another 100,000.
That's what they want you to fund the force account at, but that's 200% of what their actual estimated cost is, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we should expect,
Not,
sorry?
go ahead.
No, we need to, what they're asking us to do is to fund a force account with the expectation that they will, based on their understanding of the project, only draw down 50% of what that force account is funded with, and then we would get the balance back. That's my understanding of their request. But
Yeah, well, they want a letter from the town saying that, we will cover, any other additional force accounts amount other than the $49,000 they already have.
And again, that's an additional cost along with the project manager that was not originally part of the bid or the authorized expenditure.
Well, we always knew about the project manager requirement. That was a known project need at the expense. It wasn't part of the bid because that bid went out to contractors, and that position needs to be a town employee. Right.
It's unanticipated in that the individual who we thought would have served in that position, one, is no longer, but two, would not be eligible anyways. So it was found out later that it needs to be a full-time position, not a part-time position. So it has changed, the requirement.
Okay, but from an unanticipated expense, we had anticipated paying our contractor
Something.
Yes, the negotiated
No,
rate.
the only really unanticipated expense is the additional force account.
Yeah, and yeah.
I did reach out to the engineer on that with regards to those fees, where they're coming from, who's paying them, and how that just mechanically is happening. Is there a contract to that effect? I was unable to reach him before the meeting because we just had our conversation on this today. So I did reach out, but we were unable to connect. So I will continue to reach out and see if I can find out exactly some more detail on those fees.
Are you talking about Metro North?
Yeah. No, he's talking, could you?
Former head of the committee, could I just say one thing, please? I have right in front of me the result of a discussion with Metro North, which we had with the head of government relations. And it said the project is going to stay outside of the railroad clearance to eliminate the need for flagmen when work is done parallel to the tracks. Now, what happened with that? Is it in now? Is it much closer, the new design? Is it closer to the tracks? Because we originally, when we met with Metro North, they agreed that they were going to waive and eliminate the need for the flagman. I can make a copy of this for
It
everybody.
doesn't matter, it's what they want now.
Well, when I just spoke to Robin, and she was the one who brought the train up here with, government relations, she gave me the names of two people that could be petitioned to about that. And so as long as there was going to be, that Metro North would be notified anytime a piece of equipment of construction would come within 25 feet of the railroad, that was going to be waived. And we had meetings with them. We had 3 meetings
with Terrence, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name.
Was that by word of mouth, or was there something in writing?
I have it in writing here in a report that we made to the town.
I
So-
know, but did someone from Metro North sign something saying?
No, there was
it
no
gonna be waived?
signature. There were just meetings at that point with our committee.
Well,
So-
apparently the people who are in charge of the
They're new.
flagmen now, it doesn't matter if they're new or old or what they are, they are not,
I think they need to be reminded that there were meetings with the town
If
committee.
you want to give me that information, I'd be happy to
Yes.
scan and email it to them.
Okay, because I just think they should be reminded that we did meet with Terrence McCauley and all the people who were government relations people and the people who first brought it up. I had 12 walkthroughs with Metro North, with our people back then, with, who we thought were going to be the construction people.
If you
And
leave that information with me, I will send it to the
I
person.
did make a copy for it with your secretary. Did you get it? I sent it to you already.
Okay, is that what you left with, Annette?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I will scan and email that tomorrow to the head of the person who's in charge of
Yeah.
the force account and the flagman.
And is there any way that we could, maintain that we'd be outside of, as they said in it, it says outside of the railroad clearance to eliminate the need for the flagman? That this is a very difficult thing. And then the other thing that was said was that the higher-ups, in government might, I know Metro North is sort of above any petitioning, but if there were a connection with Molinaro or whoever, maybe that they could be spoken to as well. I don't know. Yeah. I hope this can happen before we lose the grant. Okay, thank you.
Okay, under other matters,
So I'm sorry, just going back to what we need to borrow. So, how far away are we from a contract with Colarusso? What are the issues?
there's no issues. He just needs additional information.
Yeah, there was some information that a while back when we'd started on this, we had requested a lot of information. A lot of information had been transpired, not all of it. So now I have to go back and follow up on all those
Yeah,
items that
there's
had not been.
what was the director, a resolution they had.
Resolution of Board of Directors, I have not seen. I asked the engineer for
We
it
have to
and
have, there's
provided
2
it.
or 3 items, I believe.
Yeah, there's a couple things we still need, and then,
We need them because DOT is requiring them from the contractor, or?
no, you need them to protect yourself and enter into the contract, that's all.
Okay.
It's really protection of the town. It's the resolution of Board of Directors is what's authorizing the person who signed this contract that they have the authority to sign it. There's other aspects in this as well. There's other requirements that I want to make sure that have been complied with before we enter into the contract. They've sent certificates of insurance, but the ones I have are from months ago. I'd like to see that I'd like to see new ones updated, make sure that we're current on our timeframes, and make sure that we're insured for the projected timeframe of the project. So, like I said, there's some follow-up matters that now need to go forward.
Now, did you send follow-up with Dave Spada at Colarusso for those?
No, I haven't spoken to La Spada, or I haven't spoken with him yet. I wanted to contact the engineer first.
No, I wouldn't go directly to David.
Okay.
So if.
And then you
was-
can copy the engineer.
Okay.
Like early next week, if you still don't have what you need, can you just write a bullet list for
Sure.
the board and let us know what you're missing from them?
Sure.
We accepted, and I think you have written down there their base bid, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that plus the expected cost of the project manager plus the force account, are there any other costs that
No.
we need to borrow against?
Again, I think knowing what the costs are from the MTA, we haven't been authorized to even spend that money yet. There's been no resolution for that. The only resolution that's been passed is for the base bid with Colarusso.
Right.
So that,
We can
Sure.
pass resolutions.
Yeah. I'm just notifying the
Well,
board
we
that
just have
that
to
hasn't
figure out
happened.
a
Guys,
balance
because
I'm
to
just
put it
doing a
so long.
budgetary, I'm just trying to understand the number, that's all. So we can take the steps we need to take to do everything properly, but I'm just trying to understand, like, what's in our way and what's the actual number. So we're roughly, let's call it
150,000.
150,000, and then
That's what I would
another,
like to call it.
what, 30, 25,000 for the project manager?
No,
roughly?
100,000 from Metro North in extra force account.
Okay,
And then 50,000 is what I would think would be absolutely plenty for a project manager for 3 months. Not knowing that much about it, but it doesn't sound like they're crazy expensive. So if
Yeah.
you just put in 150,000, now I don't know that much about what our, but we have, because they're unanticipated expenses, we can take from our fund balance if in fact we have enough to get us through to December. That's what I would recommend. If the bookkeeper and whoever accounting firm needs to look carefully while they're doing their budgeting, can they also see if we can squeeze out the extra 150,000 in unassigned fund balance from general fund A? I see that we had 463,000. Now, I know that things change in the next couple of months, but so they have to forecast out. But if you could take 150,000 out of that, knowing that in December we get the mortgage tax, of which we have $500,000 coming, you could then make it through December and January and still meet payroll until the taxes come in. So,
yeah, and look,
I mean, I
we
think that the cash flow is sufficient, but this is just my bare bones understanding. I'm not an accountant, but
Right.
it seems to me we
So
can borrow what we said we were going to borrow and get the 150,000 out of our unassigned fund balance. Pass a
So just
resolution.
borrow the amount of the construction?
Yeah,
Okay.
and hope to goodness that we don't really need 100,000, we don't really need 50,000, but we have it.
Is the force account of the 49,000, that's in addition to the 100,000 that they're looking for now? Is that
Yes.
number 150 then?
Well, that-
Plus, because I think the way Damien was thinking was the way that it should be calculated, that it was 150 plus the cost of the project manager.
No, it's 100,000 that,
Okay.
we've already paid the 50. So the 49,000 was paid earlier in order to get to where we are. Now they want an extra 100,000. So 100,000 in additional flagman fees, force account, plus the 50,000 theoretical project engineer would give you 150,000 just as a number. And then the bookkeeper would look through the, anticipated expenses through December. Now, as of this time last year, I found unassigned, the unassigned was 541,000 versus 463. We had a healthy fund balance, as far as I know. We have never run close to running out, and I
No,
think...
that's what's recommended by RBT, is we keep our fund balance between $400,000 and $500,000.
Well, knowing that we have a big surplus coming in December, unanticipated surplus, that we can get ourselves through this.
Totally agree. And I think that we will find a way, if we decide we want to pay for this and do this project, we'll find a way to do that. I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying, if we have $1.25 million that we know we need, that we need to borrow, because that was the bid,
Right.
and we have how much remaining in grants that will go against that $1.25 million?
$832,000.
And that'll just pay off that as fast as it can come back in.
Okay, so just not having participated in the discussion in the last meeting because I was absent, but I just want to make it clear that yes, we are going to borrow $1.25 million, but we have $830,000 behind that in
Right.
grants to reimburse that amount. So, okay, I have a better handle over that. Let's get this thing built.
I think so too. I think we've never been in a position to get it done, and we should just get it done. We've already spent a lot of money and time and effort.
Super. All right, so can you send that bullet list on early next week?
Whatever I don't have by next week, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Resolution number?
72?
Employing labor attorney for legal services in connection with labor, employment, and collective bargaining matters. Be it resolved that Robert T. Schofield, Esquire of Whitman, Osterman and Hannah LLP, is hereby employed and retained as labor attorney for labor, employment, and collective bargaining matters in connection with the recently recognized UPSEW as bargaining agent for the Highway Department employees. Be it further resolved that Robert T. Schofield, Esquire of Whitman, Osterman and Hannah LLP should be paid for such services in accordance with the proposal submitted to the town board dated September 19, 2019.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
This is, in fact, the same one that we
Yes,
were
it
using
is.
prior. Well, I definitely think that he was excellent.
He's a specialist in labor
Yeah.
relations.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Tiers?
Yes.
Councilman Morris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smargy?
Yes.
Public comment?
For the board members who are not familiar with the report that we made to the town, that's 36 pages, if, you'd like to have a copy, maybe it could be authorized for me to have it be Xeroxed by the town clerk's office or the supervisor's office. Would you like me to have that done?
The date on that.
The date on it was January 16th, 2009.
2009. So that's mostly based on the Mark Morrison proposal.
No, it's all of the letters from everybody endorsing the projects. It's all of the reports of all the meetings. It's the estimated cost, probable cost, and it's a very informative document. Plus it has, these people have no idea what the
Yeah.
history is. If you want them to know, because they're in the cold, I don't think even Damien has this.
No, it would have predated. So
Yeah,
I
predated.
have a copy, but
So do you have a copy? Could you lend your copy to
yeah,
Damien?
I could send it around to whoever wants to read it.
Is there a need for other
2009.
people to have a copy?
2009.
Well, if
Long time
Vicki
ago.
has it, she can send it to
Still in
everybody.
diapers.
Yeah, we can,
Just, you can make a copy and send it to everybody?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
fine.
I think it's worthwhile, because I have my copy that says committee chair on it, but,
Yep, I can definitely,
Okay,
I
and
have it handy.
I just want to reiterate that this is the largest grant ever acquired by the town of Amenia, and it would be a great shame not to have it be accomplished, and it's a big feather in everybody's hat if this does get accomplished, because we worked so hard on it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for all your work.
Okay, thank you.
Well, nobody's worked harder than me in the last 10 years. I'm the
That's
one
the truth.
that
That's the
dotted the i's and crossed the t's.
that's the truth.
Town board comments?
Say anything about that. Thank you.
I'll say thank
You
you,
dropped your,
Victoria, very much for recommending and putting out this
You dropped something over there.
lawyer that we're going to hire for our labor relations. I think he's excellent. I would also say that the town sponsors an adult volleyball program, so any adult is welcome to join us on Tuesday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Weebatuck Middle School gym. And it's through, I believe, June 23rd, through the end of school, more or less. And the contact person, if you'd like to join us, you would get on an email chain, and then we just confirm that we have enough volleyball people to make it worth everybody's while. It's Chris Ferrari, Ferrari, and his phone number is 845-464-2999. And I'd like to get that on the recreation calendar, and can you remind me who I send the information? Annette is going to be the one. And I think that's all I have. It sounds like there's a pancake breakfast on Sunday for the
Yes, at the Wassaic Fire Company.
Wassaic
Yes.
Fire Company.
Yes.
Does anybody remember the time frame? Is it?
8 to 11. Anyway, somebody else is going to cook and clean up, I am there.
I'm there. I'm there for that.
Sorry, there is a puppet show happening on Saturday at Max and Mills, the Wassaic Project, at 3 p.m. It's for kids. It's free, open to the public, 3 p.m. at the mill. And if you're interested in puppet making, they will be doing that up in the Art Nest from 12 to 5. That's it.
Are there any other town board comments?
I just want to wish my daughter a happy birthday. It's her birthday today. Yeah.
And if there are no other town board comments, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session. The town clerk is excused with our town attorney.
I second. Oh.
Who wants it?
Oh, give it to me.
Okay,
Give it to Jim.
it's close. And Councilwoman Doyle is volunteering to take the minutes.
Yes.
(9:07). All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?